Okay, not bad. What's up, guys? My name is Shay, and welcome to Stillwater. It's a visual novel about a private investigator looking into a disturbed woman's grandfather and his safety. Um, it's another one on itch.io or itch.io. Again, I don't know how to say it, but let's get into it. Why is it not like super full screen? Oh well. Oh. Okay. Coincidental, huh? Viewer discretion is advised. Okay. I'm sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down. If we can just talk it out, so many strange things keep happening after another. Every day there's this damn dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I check every faucet, every ceiling, every pipeline, and still I hear it everywhere, constantly echoing in my ears. Oh, but the water. I find random pools of water just appear out of nowhere, just like the dripping. But it's at night. It's at night when it comes. She still ain't got nothing to say. I don't know if it's my paranoia, but I swear I could hear footsteps walking along the hallways, walking on pools of water. They walk. And they walk. Upstairs, then downstairs, and upstairs and downstairs, and upstairs and downstairs, and upstairs and downstairs, and upstairs and downstairs, upstairs and downstairs. And it goes on and on and on and on like that. But somehow, it does come to an end. And it ends all in front of your grandfather's room. Still like... Okay. I know that this is a lot, but you have to believe me. No matter how many times I clean, it just won't end. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. She really ain't got nothing to say after that. It's okay, I understand. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather. Nina, please listen to me. I don't know what's happened around here, but... The woman on the phone cautiously looks around before speaking again in a hushed tone. Something terrible is lurking through this house. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and just leave this place. I can't just leave. That's my home. Please, Nina. This place, it's not safe. I don't know what you saw, but I can't just leave things like this. Girl. It's my home. It's my home. Oh. Okay, 7 a.m. Amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and, depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. And today, it was just black coffee. Boy, he looked like it was just black coffee, too. Ugh. I swear, I've never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain worth of it. You're a vulnerable... You're a valuable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. I'm starting to believe that I was bamboozled into joining their agency. Hugo Laurent, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. Black coffee, though? Yeah. He then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work at the office. I really need to find a different job. As he contemplates his poor life choices, he looks out towards the early mist. There was something inherently terrifying about the fog to him. How it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces. Proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run from my fate, I guess. Hugo finally stares at the compiled newspaper clippings he put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person cases. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just as hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but remind himself that there is a reason for all of this. An all too personal reason. Seeing strange things comes with a price. In the end, I'm the one doing this to myself. Sounds rough. Mind if I join? An annoyingly familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see the one responsible, although reluctantly. Good morning, Hugo. Hugo scowls and turns away from him. He then gathers the files and shoves it back into the binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this as an initiative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress passing by and orders himself the hefty body breakfast special with an extra plate. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. The man then looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and now jumbled newspaper clippings. All the while, Hugo is trying to ignore him. You really should eat something with that black coffee. Not ordering any donuts today? I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood, okay? Not even a little. There's a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it once more. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast for the two of us. Two? Oh, that looks good, actually. As if the world could grace Noah with even more perfect punchline. The food arrives. Why the hell did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. Wow. This looks so delicious, right, Hugo? Are you even listening to me? Come on. We both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you will. Jesus, can't talk. And I'm not about to let you faint again. So, open wide. Noah De Leon, age 27, a natural-born charmer, is just as equally persuasive as he is threatening. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats the generous spoonful without further complaints. It's good. Right? Good food will always help cheer you up. Damn him. I got swept away again. Oh, by the way, the chief will be out for a business trip. She mentioned it would be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday? She told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was a pretty sudden one. Well, I mean, she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know what? I'm not surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? We technically have the day off. I'm gonna head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get a chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why? You could just rest for the day. And pass up this opportunity to get to know you better? Quit it. After their enlightening banter, the two of them finish their breakfast, pay for their meals, and head to Hugo's car. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. Aw, doggo. The big dog stirs at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. I'm sorry, big guy. Then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. Colby. At the sound of his name, his heavy-lidded eyes slowly peek to see who calls for him. It's his one and only partner, his human. As if finally realizing who he is or where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounces at Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Bark! Good morning again, Colby. Had a nice nap? Colby? 8 years old. Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime. Has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who is witnessing all of this from the back seat, chuckles to himself. He is amazed and slightly defeated at Hugo's sudden surge of energy. It doesn't matter how many times I try. When it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Colby. Okay, back to the office. The three headed back to the office, the space just the same as Hugo left it. A decent, organized mess. To his credit, for the amount of boxes he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. Albeit, could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Shut it, will you? I said I was gonna get to it. Thanks, boy. Before Hugo could continue to give deserved head pats, he notices someone. A woman stands timidly, peering outside from the storefront. The woman appears to be a bit frantic. Disheveled and wearing ill-fitted clothes, she appears to be distressed about something. When she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. I'm so sorry. I know that the closed sign is up, but I saw you come in and I... Are you alright, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, he... Before she can continue, Noah swiftly intervenes. It's okay, we'll hear what you have to say. So please, why don't you take a seat? Noah gestures to one of the empty chairs. The poor woman hesitates for a moment before heavily sighing in relief. She then walks toward the corner of the room and sits on the sofa. Can you start off by telling us your name? Yes or no? I'm sorry for earlier. My name is Nina Mortimer. I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Watching over your grandfather? Yes. I'm sorry, Miss Mortimer, but I don't quite understand. Is he in danger? I'm afraid he is. Mr. Mortimer, if that is the case, wouldn't contacting the police be better? No! I've tried requesting their help, but they all give me the same answer. There's nothing they can do about it. If only I knew who Lewis was. Lewis? Nina fidgets at the name. She looks to the side before reaching out from her bag for an antique letter. My grandfather, he received a cryptic message the other day. It didn't come with an address or the name of the sender. However, the only thing I did pick up was that name. As she hands over the letter, Hugo noticed her hands slightly shaking. Whatever lies in this note must have shaken her this badly. Delicately, Hugo removes the content of the envelope and unfolds it. At first glance, it seems like any normal written message. A person named Lewis asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight, needing to share something important with him. However, What's eerily striking about this letter is not the message itself. Rather, at the bottom of the page, a sentence far more disturbing is written. I am coming for you, Henry. Well, were there any other letters like this? Yes, a few of them. I thought it was a sick joke at first, but this one was different. Up until now, I've never heard of anyone by that name. Not a relative or a family friend. But they clearly know who my grandfather is. If I don't do something about this, I'll lose him too. Just by uttering the words alone, Nina breaks down. Hiding away her tear-streaked face, she begins to quietly sob to herself. As an act of comfort, Colby sits closely to Nina while Noah fetches tissues for her. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. This very well could have been a prank, but she seems certain. Certain that whoever or whatever this Lewis person is, they're coming. Do you want more tissues? I'll do it. I'll take on your case. For a moment, silence fills the room. Only stares are directed at Hugo until Nina finally stands up and walks towards him. You'll take it? Hugo simply nods. Thank you, thank you! You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, Miss... Nina's fine. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina slightly smiles at Hugo before reaching into her bag once more and taking out a note. This is my address. I'll be sure to greet you once you get there. Once when you get there? Detective? She politely bows once more before heading to her car and drives back home. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at his cluttered desk. Still messy, but presentable. I guess I'll have to sort these out later again. From the ongoing downpour to the quiet hums of the car, they sit in silence. Still, miles off from their destination, Hugo constantly checks the rearview mirror. Noah, who usually chats his ear off by now, sits completely still. He looks out to the passing streetlights, reserved and distant. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? Huh. This is a surprise. Have you been looking at me, Hugo? No, you idiot. You usually just talk a lot, that's all. So, do you miss me talking a lot? Bruh, just say it. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I kept quiet until she finished. But it's her last name that caught me off guard. Have you heard about the Mortimers? They're a pretty distinguished family. Well, they used to be. What do you mean? They've been struck with so many tragedies that over time people begin to believe they were cursed or something. Every other year, I would see a headline on the local news about one of the family members' deaths. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents. No foul play, no nothing. Just another unfortunate event for the family. Maybe I understand why she wouldn't go to the police. She probably thought they'd perceive her as paranoid or hysterical. Or worse, crazy. I can't imagine all of this for Nina. And most of all, who knows what we'll find there? Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you, though. Think of it this way. I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do some pretty reckless stuff, I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Besides, 2 are better than 1. My bad. I went too fast. Exactly. I was fine with Colby coming with me. Ciao. Well, have you heard that 3 is better than 2? Ugh. Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate reveals itself beyond the evergreen. Nestled and tucked away from prying eyes, it stands tall, looming from a distance. Hugo and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scale of the manor as they parked adjacent to Nina's car. Wow. And to think she came all this way just to request us? It took us more than a couple hours to get here. Maybe she really didn't have a choice. What do you mean? Come on, she's waiting for us. Immediately after exiting the driver's seat, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavily on Hugo's chest. Gasping tightly at his coat, he begins to grasp for air. His gaze hazes as he leans close to the car. Like a fish drawn out from sea, he desperately heaves. But this ache he harbors pales in comparison to a pain far more excruciating. Child. Is it the house? No, something far more sinister. He feels it. Someone is watching him. A piercing gaze fixed on him. Like leering at a bug and waiting to strike. I'll never forgive you. Okay. What the? Already? I need to hurry or else. Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of his fixated trance. Colby nudges his head against Hugo, whining with concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear that just now? Hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear. Is everything alright? Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me. I'm just a bit winded out from the trip, that's all. I'd be happy to make you coffee at the very least. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, this subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. But before Hugo could get a chance to look further into it, she walked off towards the front porch without saying another word. Are you sure you're alright? You sounded like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine. Besides, we're already here. We can't back out now. Listen to me, I don't think you should... Noah abruptly cuts his lecture short as he notices Nina stopping by the front door. She stands there silently, as if contemplating something. I know this may sound rude, but I didn't get a chance to know your names. Well, you were pretty out of it when you walked in. I'm really sorry about that. No worries. This is Detective Hugo Laurent. This is his assistant, Kobe. And I'm his second assistant, Noah de Leon. Huh. It seems so surreal, just like a cartoon. Hahaha. Nina meekly smiles before turning away from them. I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective Laurent. Just like before, as if carefully choosing her next words, she decides that in this situation, words are not enough. You'll see for yourselves what I mean. And with that, Nina enters the house, leaving the 3 to follow behind. And I won't. Hugo is about to enter through the foyer when he feels a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. You'll be the first to know. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what awaits them beyond the door. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Hugo notes that the interior is just as grand. adorned with floral accents and antique paintings. It exudes an elegant charm found only in a resplendent house such as this. What does that mean? However, Hugo notices something more distinct than the splendor. This house is much more terrifying inside than out. Please come this way. Bracing themselves, they enter the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo could not discern the silhouette situated at the far corner. However, on closer inspection, he now understands the reason for all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. Grandfather, we have guests. Oh, bro, what's up with your eyes? Wait a minute. Sitting on the armchair is a young man. He's dressed in a white collared-down dress shirt tucked in with black slacks and black penny loafers. How is that your grandfather? Staring only at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still, motionless, like a doll. Grandpa, these are the people I spoke of. This is Detective Laurent and his two assistants, Colby and Noah. They're gonna help us. Nah, I don't like this music. Even after introducing them to the head of the Mortimer estate, Hugo and Noah could not help but feel unnerved. The man before them is supposed to be frail and older than any of them. And yet, here he remains, forever unchanging, forever young. They've come a long way, so I'll be making some coffee. Would you also like some, Grandpa? Okay. The young man still does not reply back, never glancing at Nina or anyone else in the room. Only fixed on the rain. Is nobody going to acknowledge his eyes are glowing? Nobody? Okay. I'll be sure to make a cup for you two. Then she timidly gestures to Hugo and Noah back to the foyer. Bearing more questions, the two follow Nina outside. But before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There's an all too familiar air about Henry Mortimer. His eyes. They're similar to his own. Oh. Whatever he must be longing for, Hugo knows it will not end well. Nina, that man. Yes, he's my grandfather, the one I asked you all to watch over. I know this is hard to believe, but Nina draws something out from her pocket. It's an antique picture of a young man with slick back hair, wearing a luxurious suit. He appears to be poised and refined, a complete contrast to the current Henry Mortimer. This isn't much to go by, but I swear he is the same person. Then why does he look so young? It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of tea when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that something fell over, so I went to go check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I rushed to help him up, but when I did, he looked so different. So many things were rushing to my head, and yet he felt so familiar to me. He wore the same clothes that my grandpa wore that night. And his face! I recognized his face. He just looked younger. That was also the same night I found that letter. It was next to him, already opened. I'm sorry again for all this. No matter who I went to, they either said something was wrong with me or my family. With everything going on, maybe they're right. The pools of water, the dripping sounds, the letter, and now this? Maybe my family really is cursed. They're not. Curses aren't real. Detective? I think we easily get too involved in believing that sort of thing exists. In reality, the ones who fixate on it feeds off of it. Rumors, remorse, doubts, lies, all of those things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can't possibly be healed or fixed right away. But like a curse, those emotions drag other people down with them. Personally, I think you were caught up in all this. But I assure you, we'll see this through. For you and your grandfather. Thank you. Good. Who says good to a thank you? Now, our first priority is to find out more about Lewis. Nina, the letter you showed us back at the agency, do you still have it with you? Ah, yes, it's here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course. I'll check upstairs. Noah, you and Kobe check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigations, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulder. He leans in close enough for Nina to not hear. Keep a close eye on Mr. Mortimer and Nina. Especially Nina. Okay. Okay. I'm counting on you. You too, boy. And with that, Hugo heads upstairs, starting his investigation. I'm sorry if you can hear that. I hit my headphones. After searching vigorously through each of the rooms, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. Hugo walks toward the nearest lampshade and opens it. Dimly illuminated, he sees the extent of how lavish this part of the house is. From customized drapes to the vintage furniture, everything here exudes that extravagance. But, much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds this one in particular reeks of it. Plastered from wall to wall, a sense of gloom lingers. It's as if the room itself is moldering, despite its preserved nature. I need to hurry. I don't want to stay here for too long. It's 11:50 already. He searches and searches, still with no sign of anything. Not one thing pertaining to Lewis. Nothing? It's as if he cleared out everything, just blank everywhere. No, it has to be here. I'm just missing something. He ponders again before remembering the letter. This is the only proof Lewis exists so far. I'll try to read it again. Maybe I overlooked it. As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. Bearing no foreboding threat at the bottom of the page, it just looks like a regular letter. What the? If you can't come, then I understand. It's pretty dreary after all. Ah, but if I can ask one last favor of you, could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I'd like for you to have it. I'd be happy knowing it's with you. Thank you for everything, Henry. Forever yours, Lewis. This is the same Lewis? I thought he was the cause of all this. I don't understand. Without warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom, as if something unlocked itself. Hugo turns around and sees at the foot of the bed a chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well, left to rot on its own. Preparing himself, he opens the chest. Inside, scrambled together, are bunches of notebooks and small trinkets. Hugo continues to rummage through when he stumbles across an old newspaper article. Young man found dead by the lake. An unidentified young man was found on the morning of something, 3 days prior to his death, according to police. Ruled out as a suicide, police have claimed that the troubled youth drowned himself. This certainly is a tragic loss, an unfortunate event indeed, somebody comments. No claim of his body has been made yet. Lewis. By the corner of Hugo's eye, he spots a bright glint buried underneath the clutter. He reaches for it. A locket of brilliant gold shines unblemished, retaining a timeless luster. Inside it safeguards a picture of a young man with glasses smiling brightly. This must be the locket he was talking about. It's so pretty. I'm surprised it still shines like this. And this picture. Did he put this here? No, it might have been Henry. But why? Why would he store it away like this? What should I do? Leave it? I think it's best to put it back for now. Hugo is about to put everything back into the chest when he feels a wet and cold sensation crawling up his leg. What? Water? A pool of water relentlessly spreads across the floor, already sweeping into the chest. No! Suddenly the lights shut off. A scream is heard, followed by a myriad of shouts. Myriad? My bad. Hugo is about to call out to Noah, but stops at the sight of pale feet before him. No, thank you. Looming over him stands a tall, ominous figure. His face is shrouded in complete darkness, devoid of any human emotion. Please don't go higher. No, thank you. It appears as a young man, but Hugo knows that is far from it. No, this very thing is trying to imitate a human form. Trying to be human. Hugo could only stare back. Paralyzed with fear, he's forced to watch the horror as it slowly creeps toward him. It's just like before. No. Stay. No, thank you. The sensation of someone staring at him from within. But this time, it's drawing nearer, inching ever so closely. The words to call out to Kobe or Noah fail to reach out. Lodged in his throat, he struggles in pain. With his breathing shallow, he tries to force his body to move. No, please. And then it stops. Looking down at Hugo, filled with nothing but malice and contempt, it speaks. No. What did it say? All of a sudden, the door to the bedroom slams shut and the entity disappears. Why is it still wavy like water? The tension from his body finally releases its agonizing grip, and he gasps desperately for air. Oh, his vision blurred and breathing jagged, he staggered toward the door. I don't like it. He yells. He yanks at the handle several times, but is tightly jammed. Noah! Kobe! To his dismay, he is only greeted with silence at the other end of the door. Dang it! From a distance, he faintly hears the sounds of Kobe's relentless barking as he gets further away from the house. He rushes towards the window. He tries to pry it open, but just like the door, a heavy force prevents him from doing so. Man, screw this. Frantically looking around the room, he spots a nearby chair. Without a moment sooner, Hugo grabs the chair and starts to strike the window. Bit by bit, the window cracks, get larger with each blow, splitting off smaller pieces. What the heck is this thing made out of? Still trying to catch his breath, he musters all the strength he has left for a final blow. Just break already! There you go. Clearing out the remaining glass shards, Hugo peers his head out to see any railing he can grab hold of. However, he discovers instead that the wall adjacent is covered in ivy. Despite how heavy the rain has drastically become, he reaches out for it, grabbing a handful of the vines. Carefully, he climbs out the window, gripping tightly and making sure he doesn't lose his footing. Yet, to his luck, the patch of vines he clutches starts to tear away from the wall. Out of desperation, he struggles to find his grip on another, but fails when his hand slips out of reach. Shoot! Oh, that sounded like it hurt. Clamoring wildly as he loses his grip on the ivy, he crash lands down onto a thicket of bushes. Air forced out of him. He heaves uncontrollably, trying to even out his breathing. But even that is laborious. An immense pain spreads across not only his back, but his entire body. God, I'm getting too old for this. Although his body screams out in pain, he forces himself up. There's still time. I can do this. I have to do this. With staggering feet and haggard breathing, he makes his way to the place where it all started. To the lake, where this tragedy starts and ends. Dang. Finally entering through the park, Hugo calls out to Colby and Noah. Colby! Noah! Where are you? He hears faintly the sounds of barking and echoes of people yelling in the distance. He rushes towards the echoes, guiding him through the downpour. With his heart racing and his blood rushing to his head, he finds his way to the lake. Drawing closer, he sees Nina giving chase to her grandfather. Unfortunately, she doesn't get too far as Noah stops her. Grandpa, stop! Grandpa! Let me go! My grandpa, he's... Nina, please, it's dangerous. You'll get hurt too. I don't care, I don't want to lose anyone anymore. It's at that instant Hugo trudges against the water, pursuing Anita's stead. Hugo? No, don't! Please falls deaf to his ears. Not even the whines and worried cries of his partner can make him turn back. Determined, he trudges further in. Nearing the deep end, he sees Henry Mortimer, gazing directly at the abyss. He looks even more frail and disheveled, as if all the life had been drained from him, surrendering it all to the lake. Before Henry could lean in, Hugo reaches out and tugs at his arm. Mr. Mortimer, listen to me. Nothing is waiting for you down there, so please, come back to the shore with me. Motionless and unresponsive, he still stares deeply into the water. There are so many things we cannot afford to lose in our lives, and you're one of them. To Nina, you're all she has left. She needs you, Mr. Mortimer. Hugo felt it. A slight jolt from Henry's arm as if stirred by the mention of Nina. He slowly turns to face Hugo. Nina. However, just as cruel and as violent as the storm, Henry jerks back, wrenching his arm away from Hugo's hold on him. All of this is my fault. If only I got to Lewis sooner, then none of this would have happened. Henry inches even closer to the edge. Lewis, I'm sorry. I should have what? Gone in his stead? Gone with him? You know that wouldn't resolve anything. Not for you or Lewis. I've had enough. Lewis is waiting for me. He's waiting for me to come home. Oh, shoot. Before Hugo could reach out for Henry's hand, he disappears into the water. Mr. Mortimer! Without hearing the anguished cries and desperate pleas, Hugo dives after him into the abyss. Plunging into icy waters, Hugo feels shocks running rampant throughout his body, like spikes continuously piercing from his legs to the tips of his fingers, fiercely and unyielding. His chest tightens and his heart races as he begins to kick his legs, hoping whichever way he goes, he'll find his way to Henry. Swimming deeper and deeper in, he sees a faintly figure slowly descending into the darkness. As he finally gets closer to Henry, the long snake-like arms stretch across the void and grab Hugo's neck. Oh boy. Violently squeezing all the air out from him. He tries desperately to wrench its hands away, but with each struggle, Hugo's movements begin to weigh heavier and heavier. Water filling into his lungs as his vision starts to blur. The cold numbness spreads. Tired and motionless, he watches on as the abyss draws near, swallowing him, embracing him. Let's share this happy ending together. Oh, nah, fam. No, what you mean the bad end? A mermaid's tail. What else? Wait, what else was I supposed to do? Well, that was Stillwater. I might come back and play for the other endings, but thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.